Hey guys, happy Wednesday. So today's topic is all around self-care, and I called the title of this self-care as healthcare because truly when we look after ourselves, we feel just so much better and we have so much more to give to others. But it's really common that women particularly, but I'm sure it occurs for men as well, they don't prioritize taking care of themselves and can quite often put themselves at the bottom of the list. So I wanted to address that in today's video, and obviously with Valentine's coming up this weekend, I thought that it was an appropriate topic to talk about because when we take care of ourselves and we love ourselves and we nurture and mother ourselves, we can give so much more to the others around us. So it is about looking at our mindset around why it is that perhaps we play the victim or the martyr and we put ourselves bottom of the list. And also it's about how we can practically fit in taking a little bit more time and care for ourselves. And again, as always, guys, I say this knowing that there are different seasons in our lives, and especially if you're a mum with lots of young kids or you're in a really busy corporate job, then of course, I totally understand that there are going to be difficulties, but just because something's hard doesn't mean that you shouldn't do it. And I'm not saying this with believing that I'm perfect at it. I'm definitely not. Everything I share with you is a work in progress for me. And that's what it's all about, isn't it? It's about learning how we can be better, do better, feel better. So yeah, this advice is not said without love. It is said with all the love in the world and knowing that it can be tricky. So I'm just referring to my notes over here. If you see me looking this way, that's what I'm doing. So I wanted to talk about 5 ways that we can make sure that we are showing ourselves love by fitting in some self-care. And I wonder what self-care means to you. When I say the word self-care, what comes to your mind? What do you think that means? Because for some people, they're going to immediately think it means face masks and doing their nails and maybe waxing their legs. It may mean more about how they look. And that can be an element of self-care. If that feels good to you, that can be a part of self-care. But I think that self-care is much more about how we feel. It's not about how we look. It's about how we feel. And so I like to, when I'm working with a client who finds this hard to think about, I like to consider how you would treat a best friend or your mum or your kids. How would you go about nurturing them and making sure that they feel good about themselves? And some of that may be, going for a spa break, but it's more about the words that you're using to talk to yourself. It's more about the space and the time you're giving yourself. It's about making sure that you have time to do the things that bring you joy and the things that light you up, and not just going through an arduous daily routine of monotonous work and looking after kids and tidying the house. Where's the joy? Where's the pleasure? Where's the thing that you're looking forward to in that day? And this is where sometimes unhealthy habits come in, because people aren't making enough time for that kind of process throughout the day, and so they're rewarding themselves with a glass of wine or binge eating a chocolate at the end of the day, because the whole day is just heavy and stressful and there's no place for joy and ease and happiness. So again, I'm going to pose the question to you: what does self-care mean to you? And what things can you do throughout your day, not as a booking a spa day one weekend, not as a holiday. What can you do throughout the day which is giving you time for yourself, what can you do throughout the day which is helping you to feel good? Because that's our aim, right? Self-care is about feeling good. So how can you do that throughout the day? And I'm going to offer some suggestions, and my first point is going to be my longest point, and the others are really all to substantiate the first point. But my main piece of advice is about forming habits or routines. And so that becomes normal for you. So, for example, and I'm just giving myself an example, of course, everyone's in completely different situations, different, times in their life, different amounts and ages of children. So, of course, what I'm doing for me isn't what you should be doing for you. I'm just using myself as an example. So, for example, I have a routine of 6:30, I wake up for my morning routine, for my meditation practice, and for my journaling. That at the moment is the majority of what's filling my morning routine. And it shifts and changes depending on what I feel that I need. But at the moment, that's what I'm doing. And by the way, I have recommended in previous, in the morning routine post that I did, I think it was last week, about journaling. And I've recently bought Brendon Burchard's productivity planner, I think he calls it, or I'll take a photo for you. But anyway, it's Brendon Burchard's productivity planner, and I'm really enjoying having it as a focus. And another journal that I recommend to most of my clients is the 6-minute journal. It's just a way to focus your mind and give you intention for your day. But anyway, I'm getting sidetracked. My point is that I wake up every morning at 6:30 to have my morning routine, to have time for meditation, to have time to create my intention for the day. I look at my diary, I see what I've got on, I know what clients I'm seeing. I have the space to figure out how my day is going to go. And this is really important for my self-care. This is really important as to how I'm feeling, because I know that I have that time. I have that 45 minutes to an hour in the morning, every single morning, which is for me. And it's for me to figure out how I'm going to show up best for my day. And I need that time. That's crucial to me. If not, I would be like, if I didn't know that I had that time in the morning, then I'd be stressing the night before. I might not sleep so well. I might think that I need to do some of the things that I might do in the morning in the evening, and cut out what I'm doing in the evening to relax. So knowing that I have that time scheduled in, and you know what they say success is scheduled. So scheduling in, I know without question, my alarm is going off at 6:30 and I am getting up to start my day on my terms, like I talked about in the morning routine post. Another routine that I have in place is that at midday, I do 10 minutes, 15 minutes, maximum half an hour of exercise. But most of the time it's 10 minutes long. So at midday, unless I'm with a client, but I tend not to be, but at midday, I schedule in 10 to 15 minutes of exercise. And that's even though I'm seeing clients throughout the day and exercising with them, it's still my time to exercise. And it can be anything that I want to do, because of course, time with clients is what they want to do. So it's what I want to do. And so it's listening to my body's needs. And it might be, more often than not, it's 10 minutes of high intensity interval training. But if I'm feeling tired or that's not what's right for my body, it might be 10 minutes of abs exercises, or it might be 10 minutes of stretching. It's what I feel that I need and that will help me to feel my best. That's our intention, right? Feel my best, because if I feel my best, then I can give more to others, and my family, my children, my clients, my work. So I know that I've got that time scheduled in and that I'm going to show up and do that. So I don't need to worry about when I'm going to do my exercise. At midday, I'm on my mat. I've got 10, 15 minutes to myself to do what my body needs. So, that may not be the case for everyone, but maybe that could be part of your morning routine. If you know that you're not going to have time at any other time during the day, put that in your morning routine. Make sure that it happens. You won't feel like doing it. I never feel like doing it. Don't wait until you feel like doing it. But you will feel so much better because you've done it. And I mean, maybe on the weekend I do like a 1 hour workout, but that's one day of the week. The rest of the week I'm doing 10 to 15 minutes. And yes, I'm seeing clients too, but think about how that compounds, that 10, 15 minutes a day, how that builds. Like, so don't look for I need an hour to do a workout. I need half an hour to go for a run. Bullshit, bullshit, bullshit. Change your thinking. You can fit in 10, 15 minutes. I know you can. I know you can. You can find 10, 15 minutes. And that, like I said, add that time together. In a week, you've done, I don't know, maybe 2 hours, 2.5 hours of exercise without really having to think about it, without really having to put aside a huge amount of time. And, exercise may not be something that you think of about as self-care, but it is. It really will make a difference to how you feel. And it can be more gentle. It can be, it can be some gentle yoga, or it can be a walk outside. But I like to think about how I can use my time the most efficiently and effectively, and that is high intensity interval training. So what else? So in the evening, I have my evening routine. I bookend the day. I have my morning routine and I have my evening routine. So I know that at 8:30 or thereabouts, I am going to be having a candlelit bath. If anyone's trying to get hold of me at 8:30 at night, know that I am going to be in the bath, and it's always in candlelight. And I know that I have that time to look forward to every night. I know that that's what I've got set up for my day. So even if I may be feeling a little tired in the afternoon, or even if I may be having a little bit of a tough day for whatever reason, I know that I've got that really special time, which is just about having a hot bath in candlelight. And it may seem so small, but it's massive to me. It's something that I so look forward to. And so I know that I'm going to show up for that no matter what. My girls know that they are not to come in when I'm in the bath. And if they do, they are quickly shoved out. That's my time. And there's a point to that as well, that, for mums, make sure you have those boundaries. Like, even if you want to do exercise at midday, but you've got kids at home and you're like, well, how am I going to do exercise at midday? Tell them, Mummy's doing. I used to do this in the kitchen. I used to get out my yoga mat in the kitchen, put on a 10, 15 minute routine and do my exercise whilst they were doing whatever. I'd be like, this is what I'm doing for 10 minutes. And like, have enough respect for yourself that you can put in those boundaries, because, even when they're babies, they can manage for 10 minutes without you. They can. All right, what else? So yeah, I book in my day, making sure that, I start my day on my terms, I end my day on my terms. And just for that, like, sense of the mind space that gives me, knowing that that's how I'm starting my day, knowing how I'm ending my day, like that, just knowing that I have those 2 blocks of time, I can't explain to you, maybe you get it if you do it yourself. I can't explain how the freedom that you feel knowing that you have those times blocked out for yourself. What else? So I talked about journaling. So something else that I think is, we're talking about creating habits, creating routines so that you can schedule your self-care throughout the day. It's not like you have to find this big block of time. Something else that I do is I have the same breakfast every morning. So it's not something that I have to think about. I know what I'm going to have. And at the moment, and it changes again, season to season, it changes. But for the last probably 2 months, I've had keto coffee every morning for breakfast. And then I change it. Sometimes I just have black coffee, but right now in this season, I am having keto coffee every morning for breakfast. And so it's not something I need to think about. I know how long it takes me to make it. and it's something I look forward to. I find it delicious. So again, like that's something automated. The more decisions that you can take out of your day, the better. It's like people always wearing the same clothes. Now, I'm not quite ready to always wear the same thing every day, because sometimes I feel like a bit of color, or sometimes I feel like, a certain jumper. But there is some truth to that. Like the less decisions that you have to make, the easier it is. So look at ways in which you can take out decision making. The same goes for my lunch. Lunch every day is a salad. Now what's in that salad may vary, and it will depend on what we've got in the fridge, but every day I have a salad. I don't need to think about it. I don't need to have any kind of like argument with myself about, am I going to have bread, or am I going to have pasta, or what am I going to have eggs? I'm having salad. Every day for lunch, I have salad. Now my supper changes, but my lunch is consistent because that's still part of my work day. I don't have a lot of time, and I don't want to give too much energy to it. So I know I'm going to pull out a lettuce, baby gem. I'm going to cut it up. I might be adding avocado. I might be adding goat's cheese. I might be adding pumpkin seeds. I may be adding quinoa. I might be adding tahini or hummus, or roasted vegetables, or grated carrots, or edamame beans, or tofu. Like whatever I've got to hand, that's what's going in my salad. But my lunch is a salad. What else? I've kind of touched on this already, but have intention and create boundaries. So talking about starting your morning with having intention. So I look at my diary, I see which clients I'm seeing at what times. I'm then scheduling in, and again, I've talked about this in the morning routine, I think, about my most important tasks, my 3 MITs. So it's not that I don't have a massive to-do list. I do. I have a massive to-do list, but that's not realistic. I'm not going to get through my massive to-do list, but I am going to choose my 3 MITs, my 3 most important tasks that I'm going to do during that day. So I know that I've got clients. So today I have a client at 11, I had a client at 1, and I have a client at 4, and I'm showing up for you guys at 2:30. So in those gaps, what am I going to do with my time? And I have it scheduled out. I know exactly what I'm doing, because if I'm not intentional, that time will be lost. So how do you sometimes lose time? Like, do you find yourself just mindlessly scrolling Facebook or Instagram when you could be using that time for a better purpose? That's when you could be doing your exercise, for example. So just being really intentional about your day and about your time. And that's not to say don't have time to switch off. Definitely have time to switch off. Remember I said I have my bath, and then I get into bed and I read. Like that is my time to switch off, and I know that it's coming. So it's not like I have to like keep pushing and pushing and pushing, and like I'm pushing, without any breaks. No way. I can work hard and I can focus because I know that I've got my break at the end of the day, and I do the absolute best of my ability to not do any work in the evening or at night, or not be on electronics and not answer emails and stuff. I'm not perfect at it, but I do my best. What else? So having intention and creating boundaries, and then not overscheduling yourself. So asking yourself, do I really need to do this? Do I really need to do this right now? Like sometimes on occasion, because my house can be such a mess, I can decide at 8 o'clock that it's time to sort out the laundry and to hoover and to, do whatever. And then I have to ask myself, do I really need to do this now? And sometimes, yes. But honestly, sometimes that is going to be the only moment where it's going to be done, and like it's reached a point where it just really has to be done. So I sometimes, I ask myself that question, and the answer is yes. But ask yourself the question, because maybe you're doing stuff that you don't really need to be doing. Like maybe you're cooking like a really elaborate dinner. Maybe you don't need to be doing it. Like maybe it could be boiled eggs and, soldiers with a salad on the side. Do you know what I mean? Like, so ask yourself, like this happened on the weekend. My husband spent literally maybe 3 hours making homemade fresh pasta and bolognese. And like, astounding to me the time it took. Then all the washing up that came after it. Like, literally it took up the majority of Saturday. Like, that for me is not how I want to spend my time. That to me isn't pleasure, but it is to him. So it's choosing how we spend our time, but being intentional about it. You will never, ever find me spending 2 hours preparing a meal. No way. That doesn't bring me joy. That doesn't make me feel good. If it does to you, then awesome, do it. But like, schedule it and take pleasure out of it. You know, put on music and make it a whole big deal. And enjoy that time. If you're using it as part of something that you enjoy that makes you feel good, then do it and enjoy it. But if you're doing it out of a sense of you should, or it's like, you know, you feel that it's necessary, it's not. I can't think of any meals that I make that take me more than a maximum of half an hour. And you know, and eating healthily is like way up on my priority list. So you can eat healthily without it taking a lot of your time. So again, like, you have to work out what's right for you. But I'm just saying, if you're finding yourself spending hours doing something that doesn't bring you joy, ask yourself, is this something I really need to do? And sometimes it will be yes, but sometimes it's probably no. And this is just a really simple tip, but use reminders and apps to help keep you on schedule. So if for example, you want to schedule in a midday 10-minute burst of exercise, put a reminder on your phone until it becomes a habit that you can stick to. If you want to meditate every morning, for example, use the Calm app and set up so that the notification comes through on your phone to remind you to meditate in the morning. I love the Calm app, by the way. But whatever it is, you know, or if it's to have a more positive affirmation, or have that come up on your phone. So use technology to your advantage, and set reminders, use the app notifications so that it keeps you on track, keeps you on schedule. And like always, as always, don't aim for perfection, because if you do, you're just never going to end up doing anything. And don't feel guilty if things don't go completely to plan. Like, I am very intentional about my days, about my time, but that doesn't mean that everything goes to plan. It doesn't. And that's okay. You know, we also need to be flexible and adaptable. But, you know, am I fitting in the majority of the things that are like my top priorities? Yeah, I am. And by the way, like, having family time and time with my girls is also absolutely a top priority. And I know that come 6 o'clock, like, that is time where we will all be together. You know, so from 6 until 8:30, that's when I'm doing my mummy duty. That's when we're eating together. I'm doing their bedtime. I'm reading them story. We're having cuddles. Like, 2.5 hours of my day is dedicated to that time, and like making that high quality time that's enjoyable to them and enjoyable to me. But come 8:30, now it slips into my time. Most of my working day is time for my work, to my clients. But I've got my morning time, which is for me. I've got my evening time, which is for me. I've got that midday workout, which is for me. I'm giving myself food throughout the day, which is nourishing me. Then I've got my time with my girls. And I've got those bookends at either end of my day. And so that's, having those habits in place and having that intentionality behind how my day goes, because we all have time in the day. You know, we all have a 12-hour, 14-hour, 16-hour day. So choosing how you schedule it and what you do with that time, and as I said, different seasons, and if you're, a mum of 4 kids all at home right now, it's going to look slightly different. But also remind yourself, this isn't forever, and do the best that you can in the moment, in the time that you have. Show up and do your best. And that's pretty much always my intention for the day, is to show up and be my best in whatever I'm doing. So whether it's for my girls, or whether it's for a client, or whether it's for me, I want to show up as my best self. And how can I best go ahead and support that to be the case? And if I'm, not sleeping well, if I'm not eating well, if I'm not giving myself like really good like downtime in the evening, I'm not going to be able to show up as my best. And so it's not selfish. It's really, really important. I think that's all I wanted to say about it. Is just to look at how you can schedule in your self-care and your joy throughout the day so that you can support yourself to show up and be your best. And I hope that's helpful. Whilst self-care is a massive subject, what self-care means to you is going to be your individual choice. But with my interpretation of self-care, meaning that it's going to be what supports you to feel your best, there's no escaping that the foods that you eat, the drinks that you drink, and the movement that you make, the thoughts that you have, like, even though, self-care may also mean, watching a certain TV program and doing a certain face mask. Yes, it can mean those things. But what I really believe self-care to mean, it means the foods we eat, what we drink, how we, exercise and move our bodies throughout the day, the fresh air that we're getting, and the thoughts and the words that we're having and saying. So that's my interpretation of self-care, and yours may be slightly different, but make sure that you schedule it in, that you're intentional about how you're spending your time in your day. And I hope that this helps. If you've got any questions, I'd love to hear them. And see you guys soon. Bye.